continue collecting, and remember, stay casual. Welcome back, casual collectors. I'm Steelwolf
and Spider Kid,
and today we're bringing you a review of the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse SpiderPunk.
So we are looking up to pick him up on Amazon for the price of $24.99. Now he is currently sold out on Amazon, GameStop, Target, Big Bad, and Best Buy. Alright, and so for box details, as you can see in the front, we can see the three main characters right there: Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse, Marvel Legends on the corner, SpiderPunk, and Miles' logo with the figure right there. And for the back, we can see is that it shows all the other figures that are part of the wave in a nice close-up of SpiderPunk. Alright, with all that said though, let's open the box and let's rock out.
Alright, here we have SpiderPunk out of the package. And man, I think this speaks for itself. He looks insanely cool. Definitely captures the spirit of Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse look. And also that classic SpiderPunk look and feel. Alright, with that all said, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the details. Alright, and as usual, before we get into the details of the figure, let's go ahead and take a closer look at these accessories. So here we see everything that comes with SpiderPunk. Now we removed two of the hands that were already attached, just so that we can have everything in one shot. So let's go ahead and get started with his guitar. And taking a look at this guy, I mean, he looks great. I mean, it seems that the sculpt on the guitar, we've seen this before, but what makes this guy stand out is actually the color. I don't think we've gotten it in this color here. The only other colors that we've gotten it was when they did that 2-pack with Deadpool and Hitmonkey, and it was this guy right here. So as you can see, it's basically the same sculpt, just obviously different paint applications. And then we got it one more time with the original SpiderPunk guitar. We can see a lot of cool details here with all these cool little graphics and stickers that they added to it. Definitely gives it that punk guitar look, so very cool. Looking at the back here, we said there is some sculpt here, which is pretty neat. We have the guitar strap, which does have some sculpted texture, as you can see there. That's also pretty neat. We have these up here where the actual strap will attach to. It's pretty cool that it's there. And the strap is actually made out of a softer plastic, so it will bend a bit, but it'll kind of always go back to its original shape. And here we have the actual neck of the guitar looking good. We can see the strings there and the frets. Pretty awesome. Sculpting on the back of the head right here too, that looks awesome. Very cool looking guitar. Even the whammy bar here and then the actual volume knobs are there as well. So pretty cool looking guitar. Next thing, we have our hands, which we get 3 hands, and we get our classic whipping hands. And here we have some sculpt on the hand as well. It looks like there's no webbing on there, but we get this cool looking blue here that looks like a glove or something. But that's definitely pretty cool. The next hand here is we have a hand that's holding a pick. This is freaking awesome. I definitely love the fact that they did this with the first SpiderPunk. I thought that was a very nice touch to detail. Very, very cool. So I definitely applaud them for doing this again. Very awesome. And last but not least, we have our fret holding hand, basically where he's actually mimicking a chord on a guitar. So this is a really cool touch as well. Definitely like the fact that they brought this back also from the original SpiderPunk. Very cool and nicely sculpted as well. Very, very awesome. So pretty cool little accessories, although I do wish right off the bat that we would have got a Hobie head, an unmasked version of SpiderPunk, since we did see that in the movie.
And some like fisted hands also.
Yeah, and I've said this before, but I think that fisted hands should be standard issue, meaning that they should be included with any action figure. I mean, how can you have SpiderPunk here fighting without him being able to throw a punch? Because these hands can mimic a punch, you know? Granted, you're going to probably be having him using his guitar as a weapon, but that's not very practical. I mean, he's going to definitely be punching people, but we can't get that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like we should have gotten some fisted hands for sure. And maybe some web effects too, or an amplifier. I don't know.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like I'm asking for too much nowadays with Marvel Legends because they're always shortchanging us with accessories. But anyway, I digress. With all that done, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the details on SpiderPunk himself. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the details on SpiderPunk, and let's go ahead and start with the face here. And right away, he definitely has a different look than the other SpiderPunk that they've released before. And right away, the biggest difference is going to be these eyes. They're definitely a lot bigger, like wider-eyed, and then you got this cool looking mascara that looks like it's shredding off of it. So very rock and roll, very punkish / gothic. So very awesome touch to that. Really like that. And then these paint applications right here of the spider lines came out looking great. So that looks cool. These eyes are actually sculpted. They're not just painted there. Like this whole outline of the eye is sculpted.
The weapon actually does remind me of the Sam Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it kind of does. So that's pretty cool. So moving on to the top of the head, obviously, we got these cool looking spikes. And they look sharp, and they kind of, if you can see, they're poking down on my finger, but there's no way in heck this is going to actually cut or pierce your skin. They are a softer plastic, so you can see here they kind of bend a little bit. Back here, though, this one's kind of bent. And I don't know if that's supposed to be bent like this, or if maybe it just got warped. I don't know. I guess we'd have to watch the movie again or look for a trailer to find out, but yeah, that's kind of weird. Anyway, moving on. If we can see here in his neck that he's definitely wearing a choker on the neck there, and it's basically a leather buckle, which looks pretty damn cool. A lot of detail. I mean, you can see the silver paint there. You can see the buckle. You can see the little studs there. That looks awesome. And then moving down further here on the chest area, we can see that he's wearing what looks like a t-shirt, and it's all ripped up. So that's pretty cool. So it almost looks like he's just basically wearing a red jumpsuit or a skin-tight like leotard type of thing.
That suit's a little revealing, isn't it?
Well, it allows for maximum mobility. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
And then he's just wearing a blue t-shirt with these blue accents here on his wrist, and then obviously his vest with some pants on. So definitely pretty cool. Definitely feels like it can come off, and I'm pretty sure it can actually. Yeah, it definitely looks like it can. So continuing on to the shirt here, when we open it here, we can see some wrinkles there on the shirt itself. That's pretty damn cool. And we can even make out some chest musculature there, so that's pretty cool. Now those webbing lines do come up to about the chest area right there, so that's cool. Unfortunately though, they do not continue right here in this exposed ab area. They don't continue there. And from the looks of it, they don't continue along the arms there, but that's okay. He still looks pretty damn cool. And since we're on the chest area here, let's take a look at this vest. Look at all those metal studs around the collar. Man, that looks cool. We even got some buttons on here. Very punkish, Misfits, Ramones. Oh man, definitely freaking looks cool and gives it that punk feel. Love these zippers here for the pockets. More patches or pins. Looks awesome. We can even see the actual zipper lines here. That's freaking cool. Very nice attention to detail. There's the other side of the pocket there. Continuing on to the back, we have a whole ton of these studs. That is freaking awesome. I mean, just look at that. You can feel them. They're sculpted. That is awesome. And then we got these nice, cool spikes here right on the shoulders. Very cool. And Spider-Kid kept telling me about this logo here on the back, on how it just looks like he spray painted it or something, or just painted it with a brush or something, but it definitely looks like that, and it looks hella cool. And moving on here now down to the bottom of the jacket, looking nice. Not much detail other than some wrinkles and some accents. Since we're right here on the back area, we can take a look at Hobie's butt here. We got his belt there, which we got some studs. You can definitely see all that texture there. That looks cool. And then we got his suspenders that are just kind of hanging off. That looks pretty cool too. And these guys are a softer plastic, so don't feel like they're going to get in the way too much, because They do tend to move out of the way when you're posing, so very nice. They got some detail right there. Looks like there is a little bit of texture on there. Here's the other strap there to loosen or lengthen those things or tighten them. And here's the front. We can see the buckle there. That looks very nice. Nice silver there. Very cool. And here's his second belt. We can see the studs in the buckle, but looking pretty sweet. And let's come back up this way and take another closer look at this arm here. So we can definitely see some more ripping here on the shirt, on the sleeve there. That looks cool. And then we got this cool armband. Nice and spiky. That looks really cool. And they even added some silver touch of paint there too. So they look like studs. That's pretty awesome. Down to the arms here, like I said, we have these like what look like little bandages or bands. Definitely part of a shirt that just got ripped up here along the sleeves. That looks cool. There's some on the hand.
It's more part of the shirt that he's wearing right now.
Yeah, like he just got in a fight or something, or maybe that's just the style. That looks cool. And we've already covered these hands, which came out looking absolutely amazing, especially with this pick in his hand. That looks cool. Moving down to the other side of the arm, we don't have that armband, but nonetheless, we now have this what looks like a bracer or like a gauntlet. That looks freaking cool. Very punkish, very metal. It's got all these studs on it. Very awesome. More of that bluish cloth from the shirt right there. That looks awesome. Moving further down here, we can see some more detail right here on his thighs. And that looks pretty freaking sweet. It definitely looks like it would be a different type of cloth. Maybe like patches or something. But we can also see a little bit of that right below this second belt. It's kind of hidden. But if you just move the belt out of the way, you can see that right there. Looks like it would be like patches or something like that, but that looks cool. Not much to talk about his knees, but moving down to his boots, these came out looking kick ass. These look awesome. I mean, look at all the sculpt on them. Look, you can make out all the little grooves where the actual shoelaces would go in. Very awesome. And these boots are done very well, by the way. Look at all this. That's awesome. This is all sculpted in. And it looks like the shoelaces go and they wrap around to the back where he ties them up in the back. So very, very cool. And then I do like the way they look, though. They are kind of thin, but it completes the look, man. It just looks awesome. And here we got the bottom or the front of the shoe here. More shoelace, and that looks great. Nice red color. You can see some details right here on the boot for the soles. And on the bottom of the boots, we have a little bit of tread. Not too much tread, just on the outline of the shoe itself, but we do get peg holes. There you have it, folks. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into some articulation on SpiderPunk. All right, and now for articulation. Now, right away before I get into it, I am so, like, worried about breaking this guy. It's not that he feels flimsy, it's just that he's so lanky. I mean, look at the guy. He's so lanky, and I'm just worried that I'm going to break him. I'm getting flashbacks here when I had got the Hela and the Huntsman, or what was his name? The Executioner. It was Hela and the Executioner 2-pack from Thor Ragnarok. Well, no, remember we broke the arm. We actually broke the arm right here when we were trying to get her out. Yeah, we were really disappointed in that. But luckily, Hasbro replaced her. But yeah, I'm getting flashbacks of that. So I'm very worried about this figure. Especially now that he's sold out everywhere. So hopefully not. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's start with the head here. And as always, the head can spin a complete 360, even though watch out for these spikes there on the head. They will make contact with the ones on the shoulder, so just maneuver them out of the way and you'll be all right. And he can look up, that far up. He can look down, that far. And let's see if he has a pile driver motion or a quagmire motion. Let's see. Oh, wait. Yep. Very slightly, as you can see there. It's super subtle, but he does have it. All right, and he can tilt his head just like that, which is not much. The other side, just like that. And moving on down to the arms here, his arms can rotate a complete 360, even though there is issues right up in here, and that's basically because the armband will roll up against this shoulder pad or the edge of the actual vest, but you can maneuver that out of the way as well. But it does go a complete 360. And the arm can actually move up about that much. That's about as far up as I want to go with him. I don't want to go any further. I feel like he will break if I go any further than that. But that's about as far up as he can move that arm. Moving on, he does have a very lanky, but he does have the double jointed elbows here, as you can see. Just gotta bend this part in here. Double jointed elbow that will go in about that much. He does have a bicep swivel, as you can see here. And his hands can swivel and rotate, and they do have a hinge, which will hinge out like that or up like that. Same goes for the other arm here, same articulation. Down to the actual chest area here, he will ab crunch forward a hell of a lot. That is insane. I don't think I've seen another figure that can ab crunch like this. Look at that. Although it does look kind of ugly and horrible from this angle here, but look at that. Holy crap, that is amazing. Very nice ab crunch. And I'm assuming he can ab crunch the same going backwards. And that's about as far back as we can go. Because after this, I'm getting some resistance, but that is not bad either. That is pretty damn sweet. And moving on here, so he can swivel on the waist there, as you can see. Complete 360. Boom. Very nice. And, you know, I don't feel that this vest is getting in the way at all of anything so far, so very nice. Moving back down to the legs, he can do the splits about that far apart. He might be able to go a little further, but I'm not going to push it. I'm telling you, this guy's very lanky, and I'm very, you know, scared of breaking this guy. But anyway, he can kick forward for those classic rock and roll kicks. About that far. Not bad. And he can kick back, let's see, quite a bit. Look at that. He does have an upper thigh cut, as you can see here. Upper thigh cut, very nice. And he does have also double jointed knees that will go in just about there. Moving further down, he does in fact have a boot cut right at the top of the boot. So that's very nice. And he does have ankle rockers or ankle pivots, as you can see here. Very nice. And his foot will kick forward that much. And it will kick down that much. So very freaking nice. Very nice, if I do say so. So not bad. I think articulation on this guy is pretty damn spot on. This ab crunch thing does look a little weird from certain angles, but it's very impressive how far he can go. Now, he doesn't really like rotate, you know, or move side to side on the hip area, since he's not on a ball joint. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it doesn't seem to really interfere with too much of the articulation so far. So, and that's going to do it for our articulation. All right, to measure this guy up here, he stands right at about the 6.5 and possibly even 7 inches if you're counting the very top of his spikes.
So basically, this can fit inside of your DC Multiverse collection if you wanted it to.
Yeah, I think he could. I mean, he'd be super lanky, but, you know, yeah. All right, so now for some size comparisons, let's first start off with, of course, the classic SpiderPunk. So let's kind of just take a closer look here and spot some differences. So looking closely at it now, especially comparing them side by side, I do kind of like these spikes here on the head a little bit more than these. But definitely right away we can see that this color of red here is darker than the one from the Across the Spiderverse. Also, the guitars are obviously different. This guy's is completely white, when the other Spiderverse one has those cool graphics on it, and it's a red color, as you can see there. So definitely I'm going to say I do like the way this one looks better. Some other differences here is definitely the costume itself. So this one here on the right, it definitely feels like it's more of an actual costume, like a classic Spidey costume with some subtle differences on the stomach area here with just a cool, you know, vest over it. But this one definitely doesn't look like your traditional comic book costume. I mean, it definitely looks like this guy, it's his own style, and then he just throws a mask on, you know, so nice differences. So I do gotta say, I do like the differences. Moving on to the jackets themselves, or the vests, we still got those cool buttons on this guy here, just like we do on this Across the Spiderverse one. But one of the bigger differences is the colors. And I gotta say, I do like both the colors and I do like both the vests. Although I feel that this one on the left has definitely more detail than the one on the right. We still got those nice cool little spikes on the shoulders. They're just positioned a little bit differently here. And here are the logos on the back. So definitely this one's got that cool like homemade look to it, when this one over here on the right has a more like professional kind of style, you know, like he kind of ironed on the patch, or no, I take it back, he sewed it on. I mean, you can see the stitching right there, sewed on that patch. But you know, they both look awesome. I do like them both. Although when it comes down to the Spidey butts though, the one on the right is definitely fuller than the one on the left. So, but yeah, not bad. And then another big difference is the footwear here. So here we got these shoes, then they kind of remind me of Miles's Jordans a little bit. But compared to these boots, I like the boots better. I definitely like those boots way better. So there's definitely some good things, some bad things. Actually, there's not many bad things, just different things. But I love them both. I just wish that he wasn't so skinny though. Like, and it's not of like the way it looks that bothers me. It's just when it comes to posing him, I feel like I'm gonna break him, and that would just kind of concerns me, man. Like, I don't want to break my figure, you know.
And the same thing can be said for the whole Spider-Verse wave too.
Yeah, because Miles. Yeah, even Miles, you know, Gwen I think is okay, but Miles and then what's his name, the Spot, they're all very lanky. And I know that's the style of the movie, but it just worries me when it gets translated over to figure form. But anyway, we've rambled on way too much, and these punks gotta go. So let's go ahead and do some other size comparisons with different toy lines. Alright, and so for some size comparisons with other toy lines, here we have on the right the DC Multiverse Batman next to the Spiderverse SpiderPunk. And by the way, folks, the guitar that Batman's holding is a guitar that I got off of AliExpress. I got it for like $3. And that's the guitar that I used to pose my original SpiderPunk with. I just feel like I like the design of that guitar better than this one here that we've seen quite a couple more times in Marvel Legends. So I definitely like that guitar with this SpiderPunk. And I gotta say, he scales pretty well with this 7-inch DC Multiverse figure. I mean, he looks pretty good with them. I mean, even though he is super skinny in comparisons to Batman, but that's okay. He looks good. And for another comparison, here we have the Mezco Wolverine next to SpiderPunk. And here we have the Across the Spider-Verse SpiderPunk alongside of the Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool. Next we have SpiderPunk next to the G.I. Joe Classified Crocmaster. And last but not least, we have SpiderPunk next to the Bandai Model Kit Goku. And it does look like SpiderPunk is actually taller than Goku. Alright, so for final thoughts, is he a cool figure? Heck yeah. Even though at first, when I first saw him, I was kind of on the fence about him. Like, I didn't really like the design. He looked too lanky. And after getting more time seeing him in action and seeing him in the movie, I just love the design now. I mean, I'm still a fan of the classic design, but this one just feels more modern. Obviously, it's modern because it's newer, but it just feels right. I think they did this guy looking awesome, feeling awesome, even having that spirit of punk, looking punk, just awesome. And I gotta say, the details on the figure itself are amazing. That jacket alone is freaking insanely, amazingly detailed. Love the face, love the articulation, even though, again, I was worried about the actual articulation, but it feels good. I mean, despite the fact that he's super lanky, I mean, we're not the best at posing, but we've seen some amazing poses on Instagram and all that stuff, and people can do some really amazing stuff with him. I mean, we always try our best, but I feel like we can never live up to that. But anyway, he is amazing. As for cons, I would say just the lankiness of him. Again, I'm still worried that we're going to end up breaking him. I think we're just going to bend him the wrong way, and there goes a leg, or there goes an arm. But other than that, though, I think he's pretty freaking awesome. No other complaints. Maybe, I guess maybe if they could have given us, you know, some more accessories. I would have loved to have seen that little wrist communicator thing that let them travel through different dimensions. I'd have liked to have seen that on him, but he didn't have that. But regardless, though, pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a pretty cool figure. And yeah, they should have given us the little, like, wrist thing that everyone had. For the whole wave, they should have. One complaint, though, just the ab crunch. I mean, you're getting a pretty good ab crunch, but the only cost of it is that you're losing the look of the figure. I mean, as I was saying earlier in the videos, as what we were saying earlier, is that Miles had the same thing too, and most people didn't like that. And as far as I know, I think the whole wave had it. But I'm not.
Yeah, I did see that Miles, and I didn't like that. Not even on the spot. I didn't like it either.
Yeah. Yeah, and the same thing with the lankiness too, is that it's very easy to accidentally just snap one of the arms or even the legs. And even when I was taking out, when I was unboxing the figure, it had felt like just one wrong move on the arm that would just like pop out. But, I mean, overall though, it looks really good. I mean, it looks like it was straight like out of the movie. Like what I wish they should have just had though, just give us some like fisted hands and an unmasked head and all that though. It was a pretty cool figure. Yeah, I agree with you on that unmasked head. They definitely should have given us that Hobie head. They should have. Oh, speaking of that too, they should have given us is same thing with the wrist too, but his version of the wrist like gadget also. All right, it's that time again, folks, for our rating. And as always, it's on the left. And I'm gonna go ahead and have to give this guy a rating of... Alright, my rating's gonna be... And that's going to do it for our review on the Across the Spider-Verse SpiderPunk. I'm Steel Wolf. And Spider Kid. Continue collecting, and remember, stay casual.